Hello, good day everyone. This is again Teacher Jerry, a Java for English with Jerry Java. And today we will have another campus journalism or special program in journalism topic. Our session for today will be about news writing. News writing in English o pagsulat ng balita in Filipino. Let's first know about this first review on the structure of the news. How are the elements, how are your text, your article written in your news? Of course, we follow the inverted pyramid in which the most important parts or data are stated, are written on the topmost portion in your first paragraph, then heading down to the least important, the most important on top, then least important down below. Let's start with the lead because the lead is the first paragraph, or yeah, it is also the most important. The first paragraph or your introduction. In most cases, it answers the questions why, what, who, when, so what, how, or when. So that's basically it answers the five W's and one H. It is also the most important part of the story. Why? Because it captures the gist or summary of the entire news story. So you are going to give your best shot, give the most important facts in your first word, first sentence, or first paragraph in your lead. Write it there because that's your first way to impress, to capture to attract the reader. Yeah, that's what I said. The lead will have to attract readers apart from giving information. Because when you just give your information, it would be so boring. So it's a no-no. So you have to make ways to attract, to convince your readers to read on your work, your news. It is also the hardest part of news writing. When you write the lead, it's actually basically the hardest part, the most difficult part. Like in anything in life, right? The hardest part is always the beginning. But once you have written the lead, it has again it will basically make up like 50% of the task. One tip in lead writing is you have to tell a friend. It's you are going to use the tell a friend technique. Imagine your friend is asking, "What's your story about? What happened to you? What happened today?" So just answer the question in one sentence that captures the essence of the entire story. So first, when you write the lead, just basically the summary. Okay, what happened in one sentence. Here are other tips in lead writing. First, keep the lead short, one sentence only. Those with a 35 words or less are preferred. So don't go over beyond above 35 words. Otherwise, that would be too much of an information for the reader to to understand, to absorb. Two, leads are usually limited in one sentence, and so with the body. One sentence, one paragraph. In news writing, one sentence equals one paragraph equals one idea only. Three, avoid starting lead with when or where. Kailan o saan. Unless the time or place is more important, is the most important. So do not start with when or where. Four, most leads start with who or what. Sino o ano. Who or what. That's the most important usually. You start with who or sino and what or ano. Who, what, so what. Okay? Here are examples, samples of who lead in English. President Rodrigo Duterte announced on Saturday that he will retire from politics, shelving aside his plans to run for vice president in the 2022 national elections. Who? We are talking about President Rodrigo Duterte. Okay. Then another example, the government has eased restrictions for inbound arrivals and paved the way for a shorter facility-based quarantine for fully vaccinated travelers coming from other countries, Malacanang announced on Friday. Who? The government. The Philippine government. Another example for who lead in Filipino. Nanindigan si Sara Duterte na hindi tatakbo sa pagkapangulo sa darating na halalan 2022 ayon sa kanyang press conference kahapon. Sino or who? It's Sara Duterte. 2. Umapila ang National Press Club o NPC sa Senado na ipasa ang panukalang batas na naglalayong protektahan ang lahat ng manggagawang sektor ng pamamahayag. Who? It's the NPC. Now let's move on to the what lead or ano. Visiting Tagaytay is now put on hold as more virus cases were recorded in the past few days, a local government bureau announced on Friday. What are we talking about? We are talking about visiting Tagaytay, going to Tagaytay. Visiting there is not a verb, it's ing, so that's a gerund. It acts as a noun, so that's what lead. What lead in Filipino? Ano? Ipinagbabawal na ang pagkain ng pagpag sa ilang lugar sa Maynila dahil sa maaari ito umanong pagmulan ng pagkalat ng virus ayon sa isang health expert. Ano? What are we talking about? We are talking about pagpapabawal sa pagkain ng pagpag. Now, there are two kinds of leads in news writing. We have the summary lead and then the novelty lead. The summary lead, that's the old kind of lead, okay? It just basically answers the 5 W's and 1 H. What are these 5 W's? What, who, where, when, why, and 1 H, how. And now we also have it's now called the 6 W's and 2 H's. The sixth, the new W is the whence, W-H-E-N-C-E, whence. It tells you of the past, the background, what happened before the event. Then H, the second H is hence, H-E-N-C-E, what will happen next, what will happen in the future. And the second type of lead is the novelty lead. It's the new lead, new types of leads. It attracts readers' attention. It arouses curiosity and sustains the interest of the reader because these are new and mga makabagong leads or pamatnubay. It tells something more aside from the who or what or where, aside from the summary lead. So when you would want to join a contest, you can have the novelty lead. Here's an example of a summary lead compared to the novelty lead. Summary lead, just the basic answering of the who, what, when, where, the 6 W's and 2 H's. TV actor model AJ Perez died while badly wounding five others after their van collided with a passenger bus in a town of Moncada, Tarlac early morning yesterday. So you just have the who, just the basics of just the basic information or data. Whereas here, compared to the novelty lead, there's a little more of a drama and some words to make it more alive. At 10 p.m. on Saturday, heading back to Manila after a show in Pangasinan, he posted a message on Twitter on the way home already from Dagupan. Long drive ahead. Thanks to everybody who watched. 2 hours later, at around 12:20 a.m. Sunday, teen actor AJ Perez was pronounced dead in a Tarlac hospital. He was 18. Perez, one of the stars in the popular ABS-CBN drama series Sabel, was killed after their van collided with a bus in Moncada, Tarlac, police said. So there's now more that's more interesting. You added more drama, or it's like a feature type kind of news. There's more, you've provided more information aside from the aside from the 5 W's. Another example in Filipino, nagkunwari umanong patay si Pilar Pilapil upang tigilan na ang pananaksak na ginagawa sa kanya ng dalawang hinihinalang carjacker at saka itinapon sa Antipolo City noong Huwebes ng gabi. Tulad niyan, binigyan nyo lang po ang mga limang impormasyon, no? About kay Pilar Pilapil, saan, kailan, ano nangyari sa kanya. So, whereas here, we are going to kukumpara po natin yan sa novelty lead sa makabagong mga pamatnubay. Ginamit umano ng aktres na si Pilar Pilapil ang kanyang pagiging magaling na artista upang maisalba ang kanyang buhay sa tiyak na kamatayan matapos na magkunyaring patay upang tigilan na ang pananaksak na ginagawa sa kanya ng dalawang hinihinalang carjacker at saka itinapon sa Antipolo City noong Huwebes ng gabi. Yan. Meron ng nagbigay ka ng iba pang estilo ng pagbibigay ng iyong mga impormasyon na mas nagiging kaakit-akit, mas nagiging ganado ang mambabasa na basahin pa ang iyong balita. We are now talking about the 5 W's and 1 H, which I just said. It is now 6 W's and 2 H's with the addition of whence and hence. You're going to follow the who, what, so what method in writing your lead. Who, what, so what. Do not start with the when and where. Sino, ano. Ano ngayon? Yan. Ano ngayon? So, ano mangyari? So, kailangan you provide more of the what's in it for me. Yan ang so what. We have here an example of the who, what, so what. President Duterte intends to abolish the party list system when the Constitution is overhauled through a Constituent Assembly, saying it's a mockery of the law. Who? President Duterte. What? Intends to abolish the party list system. So what? What's in it for me? What's in it for the readers? Why will they care about this news? Because they said that it's a mockery of the law. You provided another information that will steer the curiosity of the readers. Why will they care to know about this news? That's what we call the so what. Ano ngayon? As you can see here in this lead, in this first paragraph, it does not tell about the where and when. That will be stated in the second paragraph. Senate Minority Leader Ralph Rector on Sunday called on the government and the National Democratic Front to continue with the peace process despite a complication in the resumption of formal peace talks with communist rebels. Here, who? Ralph Rector. What about the National Democratic Front to continue about the peace talks? So what? That's on the government and National Democratic to continue with the peace process despite a complication in the resumption of formal peace talks. Yan. In Filipino, mismong si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na ang nakapuna na inaabuso ang party list system sa bansa kaya dapat itong tanggalin sa binabalak na bagong konstitusyon. Sino? Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ano? Na nakapuna siya na about sa tungkol sa party list system. So what? Ano ngayon? Kaya sinasabi niya na dapat tanggalin sa bagong konstitusyon ang party list system. Diyan naman hindi pa sinasaad kung saan at saka kailan. Who, what, so what muna. Tuluyan ng binawi kagabi ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang idineklarang unilateral ceasefire sa Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army o CPP-NPA matapos hindi tumugon sa itinakdang 5 p.m. deadline para magdeklara rin ng ceasefire ang makakaliwang grupo. Dito, sino? Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte pa rin? Ano? What? Idineklarang tungkol sa CPP-NPA na ceasefire. So what? Ano ngayon? Matapos hindi tumugon sa itinakdang 5 p.m. deadline para magdeklara rin ng ceasefire ang makakaliwang grupo. So yan. Ano ngayon? Now let's move to the lead support or your NUT graph. NUTGRAF, NUT graph. It's the second paragraph that will support your lead. Usually your what you will write in the lead support is the when and where. And it adds more information about your lead. Here's the example, a continuation to our examples earlier. About your lead earlier, yung tuluyan na binawi kagabi ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang dineklarang unilateral ceasefire sa Communist Party of the Philippines, CPP-NPA, matapos hindi tumugon sa tinakdang 5 p.m. deadline para magdeklara rin ng ceasefire rather, ang makakaliwang grupo. That's your lead. Now, your NUT graph or your lead support, yan, yung second paragraph. Ito yung ngayon. Sa ipinalabas na pahayag, sinabi ng Pangulo na binabawi na niya ang unilateral ceasefire sa mga rebelde na inihayag niya noong Hulyo 25 sa kanyang State of the Nation Address o SONA. Yan ang lead support. It will provide more information about your lead. English. President Duterte intends to abolish the party list system when the Constitution is overhauled through a constituent assembly, saying it's a mockery of the law. Here, the second paragraph or your lead support. I will not allow it. Inabuso lahat yan eh. Ang nananalo ay yung may pera. It is being abused. Only moneyed people win. Representing what? The security guards? The president said on Friday. Yan. Andyan na yung Friday sa lead support. Now let's talk about the body. The body, it's now the second, third, fourth, fifth until your second to the last paragraph. This is the content of the story or article. In news writing, it is written most of the time in a one sentence, one paragraph style. This is what I said. Keep it short and simple. One sentence, one paragraph, one idea. Here are more tips in writing your body. Those limited to 60 words are preferred. Do not go over 60 words. In contest, one sentence, one paragraph is preferred. In printed, it's okay to use 1 to 2 sentence paragraph. Okay. But again, keep it short and simple. Each one sentence paragraph should contain only one idea. One sentence, one paragraph, one idea. Use simple words. Don't let readers use dictionary. Do not use jargon. Do not use your highfalutin words. Okay? Use simple words only in which the readers will have to understand. Use transitional devices after paragraphs. Examples of these transitional devices are meanwhile, furthermore, however, aside from that, or in Filipino, samantala, sa kabilang dako. Okay, because these transitional devices will connect paragraph after paragraph, sentence after sentence. Also, never editorialize. Never write your personal opinion. Keep yourself out from your news. Okay? Huwag isali ang sarili. Be objective. Do not be subjective. Use direct quotes from the interview. Okay, you have to use direct quotes. There must be a direct quote, or you have to let a person or character say something, and you get that from the interview. Usually, you start writing that in the third paragraph. For indirect quote, use proper terms according to, ayon sa, ayon kay, police said, DOH reiterated. When it's an indirect quote, reported speech. Avoid using that or this in paragraphs, especially in indirect quotes. It's a no-no. Example, a wrong example. She said that the man jumped. Do not use the word that. You say, she said the man jumped. Okay? Because this or that are not specific. Eliminate the be form. The police officer will be resigning in his post effective, then the date. So do not use be. Use instead, say instead, the police officer will resign effective. We took away be. Avoid contractions because contractions are not formal written English. Okay, you can use these contractions in feature in column writing, but in news writing, avoid them. Example: do not say won't, you say will not. Spell them out. They'd, you have to use they had. He'd, you have to use he had. Then also kiss, Kiss, keep it short and simple. Keep it short and simple. How do you keep it short and simple? Of course, one sentence, one paragraph, one idea only. Keep your story brief. Be accurate. Be correct. Be objective. Writer is detached. This is what I said. Uh, Take away. Do not include yourself from the news. The writer is detached from the report or event. Never use I, we, my, mine, us, you, your, yours, unless you are citing a quotation, unless when it's part of the direct quote. Look for the unusual or news angle. New angle in your news. Unusual. Do not, especially in a contest, you go away from the usual, the basic. That's why I suggest that uh, you use the novelty lead, not the summary lead. Use the style guide. One sentence, one paragraph. Then provide a best headline. Now let's talking about the headline. Here are tips in headline writing. The headlines are, of course, the top level headers of an article or piece of content that summarize the substance of a piece. Headlines, we call the titles in other articles, but we call them headlines in news writing. We follow the subject, verb, object pattern in writing the headline. Sentence format, but no period. SVO, so 3 to 5 words only. SVO, subject, verb, object. Example, Rodi wants party list system abolished. So, by the way, you get your headline, your title from your lead. You get it from here. So Rodi from President Duterte here is changed to Rodi. So that's you use the shorter words. You get who, what, so what. So subject, who is our subject? Who are we talking about? We are talking about Duterte. So from Duterte, Rodi. Or you can also have PRD, President Rodrigo, PRRD, Roa Duterte. Okay. Then action verb, your verb, and it should be an action verb. Okay. What intends, from intends you use you use a synonym but shorter word, wants. Intends, wants. Then object, party list system abolished. So here, what are we what what does Rodi want to do or to abolish? The party list system here. Another example in Filipino. Posibleng bagyo, binabantayan ng pag-asa. Subject, action verb, object pa rin. Tinututukan ngayon ng State Weather Bureau ang isang low pressure area o LPA na posibleng maging bagyo. Yan, dito we get, kinuha natin ang ating uh, mga subject, action verb, as object from your lead or sometimes also in your not graph or support or lead support. So here, tinutukan ngayon ng State Weather Bureau. Ano itong State Weather Bureau? Ito yung pag-asa. Yan, ito, pag-asa. Ano ang, what are we talking about? Anong tinutukoy natin? Ito yung LPA o posibleng bagyo. Yan, posibleng bagyo. Yan, posibleng bagyo. Then, tinututukan? Tinututukan, this is the verb. Yan, binabantayan. So, wag ulitin. Wag ulitin yung verb, yung mga words that you get from the Lead. You look for synonyms or magkasing kahulugan. Yan. Tinututukan, ibig sabihin, binabantayan. Yan. Do not just copy, okay? Then object, ang ano? Ng pag-asa. Yan. For your headline, use subject, verb, object for headline. Example here, Bongbong Marcos announces bid to join president race in 2022. Subject, verb, object. You have our subject, Bongbong Marcos. Then your verb, announces in present tense. Then object, to join presidential race in 2022. In Filipino, Agila na iligtas ng mga pulis Isabela. Ano? Agila. Verb na iligtas. That's a pandiwa ng mga pulis Isabela. That's your object. Be specific, not dramatic. Make it direct to the point. Be specific, not general. Courageous Pac-Man files for presidency after retiring from boxing that he most loved. Again, do not editorialize. Okay? Do not do away from using adjectives. Courageous, that's a no-no. He most loved, this is very featurized, no? Use comma instead of and to save space in headline, okay, in your title. Yorme and BBM file for presidency. That's wrong. That should be Yorme, comma, BBM file for presidency. Use present tense for English, past tense for Filipino. Bongbong Marcos announced a bid to join presidential race in 2022. Wrong. Like said, that should be in the present tense. Announces. Check is Bongbong Marcos announces. In Filipino, Agila na iligtas. So that's in the past tense. If the subject or person is not prominent, hindi kilala, it's not famous, it's not popular, do not use the name or surname in their title. In the headlines, use a common noun. SPO4 Calagot admits foul play in Tarlac case. Who knows SPO4 Calagot? We don't know him. Most people do not know him, so he's not popular. He's not famous. So use a common noun. Pangalang Pambalana. Police officer. So he is a police officer. Do not name him yet. Name him only in the lead or in sometimes in the secondary lead or support lead or lead support. Police officer admits foul play in Tarlac case. So change that. Now let's talk about the quoted, and when you talk about the headlines, how do we do when you, especially when it's a speech news and you would want that his or her direct line, direct quote will be your title, will be your headline. There are three ways. First, we can have a colon. Here, Duterte to workers, give us time on Endo. Give us time on Endo, this is the direct quote by Duterte that he said to the workers. So do not use double quotation, double quote. So use colon first. Tutuldok in Filipino, that. Yan. Another way, we can use the single quote. We can use actually the hyphen, itong hyphen. The Dutertenomics won't create jobs. Who said this? The militant groups. Hyphen. So first is colon. Second, we can use hyphen. Third, we can use single quotes. Let's continue what we started. Duterte tells economic managers to support his projects. Yes, this is what Duterte said. Do not use a double quote. No double quotes in headline. Single quote. So first, we can use colon, then hyphen, then single quote in headlines. But in the body of your article, of your news, you can use now the double quotations, double quote. Now, here are now the technical guides, technical na gabay sa pagsulat ng mismong nilalaman ng balita. In your first paragraph or unang talata, nakalan ito para sa lead paragraph, who, what, so what. In the second paragraph or ikalawang talata, pansuportang pahayag sa nilalaman ng lead na sinasabi ng ahensya o ng taong sangkot. Indirect quote. So that one is your lead support. Second, your not graph, where you can write there also the where and when. In your third paragraph or ikatlong talata, pansuportang detalye na maaring isang interview o quotes. It should be a direct quote. You are going to let that person now talk. Direct quote. Ikaapat na talata or fourth paragraph, pansuportang detalye sa sinabi sa ikatlong talata, indirect quote. So, you get additional information about the tool support, the direct quote. It should be in an indirect quote. By the way, do not, it's a no-no that you are going to continue or put two direct quotes together. Okay, so that should be direct, indirect, direct, indirect, alternately. Okay. In your fifth paragraph, ikalimang talata, karagdagang detalye sa pangyayari, other important information about the event. Ika-anim na talata, sixth paragraph, sinabi ng isang tao o ahensya patungkol sa ikalimang talata. So you let somebody talk again about your fifth paragraph. It can be direct or indirect. Then, ikapitong talata o seventh paragraph, karagdagang detalye sa ikalimang talata, maaring direct o indirect. Ikawalo hanggang sa huling talata, 8 until your last paragraph. Karagdagang mga detalye mula sa pangyayaring ibinabalita. Maaring ito ay mga maliliit na impormasyon, subalit may kinalaman pa rin sa balita. Maaring isulat ito ng salitaan or alternately, ng salitan, alternately, using direct, then indirect, direct, indirect. Not direct, direct, not indirect, indirect. It should be direct, alternately, direct, indirect quotes. You can have here your whence and hence, yung sixth W and then the second H. You can have provide information, background information, what happened before this, before the event, and you can also provide what might happen next. You can tell about what will happen after this event, what will happen tomorrow, next plans, okay? Paano isusulat ang lead? Here are more tips. Like I said, who, what, so what. Ano, paano, bakit, ano ngayon, sino, kailan. Kailan at saan, pwede na rin yan sa ilagay sa second paragraph. Umabot na sa 100,000 ang nagpositibo sa COVID-19 ayon sa datos na inilabas kahapon ng Department of Health, kung saan itinurong dahilan ang pagdami ng testing centers sa bansa kung ikukumpara sa mga nakaraang buwan. Yan, who, what, so what. This is your lead. Usually in your Filipino, you start with the verb. Ito ngayon yung so what. Itinurong dahilan ang pagdami ng testing centers. Yan ang so what. Ano ngayon? In English, COVID-19 cases in the Philippines rose to over 100,000 according to the latest tally released by the Department of Health or DOH yesterday, citing that more testing centers in the Philippines are opened that caused a massive surge in the data. Again, what? You can have who, what, so what. So this is what? COVID-19 cases. Rose to over 100,000. Okay, then you have here the when. You can also put when in the next paragraph. So what? Citing that more testing centers in the Philippines are opened. Yan. That caused the massive or increase in the data, in the cases. Paano isusulat ang lead? Of course, you start with the pandiwa. In Filipino, you start with the verb. But in English, you have to start with the who or what. Umabot na. Yan, umabot. So that's kailangan yan ay pandiwa, action word. Umabot. So you can also have inanunsyo, kinumpirma, dismayado, pinaburan, pinabulaanan, ikinagalit. Yung mga very big words. Mga pandiwa. Okay? Action words, action verbs. Then, of course, in English, you start with the subject, not the verb. You start with the subject. Your subject can be a person or a thing. Who or what. COVID-19 cases in the Philippines rose. So, as you can see here, your verb is the second part only. So, COVID-19 cases in the Philippines. This is your what. You can also have surged, increased, swelled, instead of using rose. Isa pang ayos ng lead, another alternative way of writing your lead is you can actually reposition your lead. Umabot na sa 100,000, you can also do this in this way. You can start with your so what, itong so what. Ano ngayon? Itinurong dahilan ng Department of Health ang pagdami ng testing center sa bansa matapos na umabot sa mahigit 100,000 ang tinamaan ng COVID-19 ayon sa datos na inilabas kahapon. So itinurong dahilan because you believe that your so what is more important. You reposition. Here, COVID-19 cases, yeah, that one, that's your basic positions of the words in your lead. You can also have start with your so what. The Department of Health tallied over 100,000 COVID-19 cases here. Just reposition. Second paragraph now, supporting detail your not graph, indirect quote. Ayon sa ahensya, nadagdagan ng 40% ang mga testing center sa buong bansa at may kapasidad na umano makakapagsagawa ng 2,000 hanggang 6,000 tests kada araw. In English, according to DOH, there is about 40% of testing centers that are open in the country and have the capacity of conducting PCR tests for at least 2,000 to 6,000 persons per day. Here, this is your support, second paragraph. Then, of course, do not forget your transitional devices ayon sa ahensya, according to DOH, the person or agency concerned, the authority. Now, in the third paragraph, you let that person concerned or authority talk. You use the direct quote. May mga testing facilities na tayo sa Cavite, sa Davao City, sa Cebu City at sa Tarlac. Kaya normal lamang na dadami talaga ang bilang dahil na-detect na natin ang mas marami pang COVID-19 positive. Ani Health Secretary Francisco Duque III. Yan ang tuwirang sabi, direct quote ni Francisco Duque III. Siya ang Health Secretary, DOH Secretary. In English, we have testing facilities in Cavite, Davao City, Cebu City, and even Tarlac. So it's just normal to see the increase in the cases because we can now detect more COVID-19 positives, said Health Secretary Francisco Duque III. Now, what to write in the fourth paragraph? Supporting detail about your third paragraph. It can be direct or indirect, but again, you have to use them alternately. Dagdag ni Secretary Duque, sa Cavite pa lang ay may 3 health facilities at testing centers nang itinayo kung saan ay nagsasagawa ang lokal na pamahalaang panlalawigan ng malawakang contact tracing para maisagawa ang testing. Yan, additional, so dagdag information. He added in Cavite alone, there are 3 health facilities and more testing centers that were built and are now being used, and its local government is conducting rigid contact tracing to conduct the mass testing. Sino may sabi niyan? Who said that? It's the Health Secretary Francisco Duque. But now it's now in indirect quote. Fifth paragraph until your last paragraph. Fifth hanggang dulo ng artikulo ay mga karagdagang pangyayari at detalye. Maaring kombinasyon ito ng direct quotes o indirect quotes o maaring maglagay ng mga history o backgrounds. History o backgrounds, that's the whence. O mga anong mangyayari bukas o mga plano pa about the future. So, hence, na may kinalaman sa ibinabalita. Yan. So that's it about news writing. I just gave you the technical guides and more tips in news writing, from your headline down to your lead, to your support lead or lead support or your not graph, and then your body until your last paragraph. So thank you so much. I hope you learned from me. This is again Teacher Jerry Ejava for Campus Journalism. Good luck. God bless everyone. Thank you so much.